Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, I think that deep down inside, we all feel the same about what is going on in the world. I think that deep down inside, we're looking at all these changes, banging our head against the wall, asking ourselves, why do we keep pushing for a more complex world? Because every day we see new inventions, new advancements, and new norms that are leading us to a complex world that just doesn't seem to make any sense. I mean, it's an illogical path because it's clear that this complex world isn't making anybody happier, isn't making the world a better place, and it isn't even good for the economy. All it is complexity for the sake of complexity. The more I understand this complex world and see it unravel, the more I see how artificial it is. The more I see that happiness cannot be found when you embrace this complexity because we weren't meant to live in an artificial world. And with each advancement, it becomes more and more clear that simplicity is the only path to happiness. And simplicity is the only path to happiness because it's natural, it's real, it's how our brains evolved over the period of hundreds of thousands of years to live, whereas complexity is artificial, it's fake, it's not who we are, and so we must reject it. And in this video, I just want to talk about the human experience, and I want to talk about the innate needs we need to live a happy, fulfilling life. And when you understand the importance of these innate human needs, you understand that they can't be met through complexity and that simplicity is the only way to achieve happiness. So here are 4 simple human needs to achieve happiness. Need 1, satisfaction from your own work. Let me tell you something crazy, ladies and gentlemen. That 90-second intro that I just said took 3 hours to write. I write a lot. And in my experience, that is pretty normal. I mean, the intro is the hardest part to write because you're trying to figure out exactly what the video is going to be about. But once I finish the intro, I get this amazing feeling. I get satisfaction because I know I did it myself. And it might not be that big of a deal, but after you're writing and then rewriting and then you finally have something that you think is halfway decent and you're finished, you just feel great. You get this sense of satisfaction that you completed something on your own. And there are so many things like this in life where you get these small feelings of satisfaction, like cleaning your house, or cooking a meal from scratch, or fixing something wrong with your car. These small feelings of satisfaction just bring so much joy in your life because they make you feel autonomous. They make you feel as a human that you have worth because you can accomplish something. And I think that satisfaction is just a very simple human need. But in this complex, artificial world, we don't get as much satisfaction as we used to because the goal of complexity is to make things easier. And complexity, ironically, attempts to make your life easier. It tries to make your life easier by helping you write, making cooking easier, or cleaning your house easier. However, when we take the complex, easy route, we miss out on the joy that you get from accomplishing something on your own. And there's nothing wrong with taking the easy route every now and then, but it's sort of like water dripping on a sidewalk. After so many drips, cracks will start to appear and make you feel empty inside. Complexity doesn't lead to happiness because you miss out on all these small moments of satisfaction that you get from accomplishing something on your own. But when you live a simple life and you choose to embrace the challenge of doing something on your own, you get more satisfaction in life. And that satisfaction leads to a happier life. Need 2, mental clarity. One thing I've become really aware of lately is how everything we do now is in real time. The decade that we're in right now is so focused on real-time information and then analyzing that information the second it happens, whether that's through work or our health or even the news in real time. We keep moving to this complex world, focusing so much on this short-term, real-time information, and it's making our society more stressed, anxious, and depressed. And what I've come to realize about myself is that you cannot have mental clarity in a real-time environment. And computers can handle interpreting this real-time information, but humans can't. It's not something that you can learn or get used to because it's not natural. And it's just creating a complex artificial world without mental clarity. We need mental clarity in order to be happy, and I think that can only be achieved by living a simple life and just focusing on simple tasks, because in my personal experience, I've noticed a direct connection with my stress, anxiety, and depression levels when I consume real-time information. But when I disconnect and just focus on simple tasks, I feel more at peace because I have more mental clarity. Complexity doesn't lead to happiness because it's impossible for our primitive human brains to process this fast-paced, real-time information. It just takes away from our mental clarity and leads you to more stress. But when you live a simple life and intentionally reject all this real-time stuff, you end up having more mental clarity, which leads to a happier life. Need 3, the right to privacy. I recently made a video called The Dirty Secret to Capitalism, where I talked about this new digital economy and how it's taking away from our privacy, and it's mainly about this book, Surveillance Capitalism. And in the book, the author said something very powerful, where tech companies want us to believe if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. But the author argues if you have nothing to hide, you are nothing. You are merely an organism that behaves. I think we've all had that experience where you see an ad that just seems to know too much about you, and it makes you feel violated because it seems like someone is spying on you. And when you choose to embrace the complexity of this new digital world and embrace products like smart watches, Alexas, or smart thermostats, what you're doing is you're forfeiting an innate human need in order to be happy, privacy, and you're choosing to live in a complex world with no privacy. I think in order to be happy, you need some sense of autonomy. You need to feel like you're not constantly under watch by so many different faceless tech companies. And the only way to do that is to live a more simple life, to reject some, not all, of these smart devices because they take away from so much of your privacy. In my own personal experience, when I'm selective about what I choose to bring in my life, I feel more at peace because I know there's nothing malicious going on. For example, I read a paper book in peace because I know the book isn't reading me. I feel more at peace without home assistance because I know nobody's listening in. I feel like I'm protecting my right to privacy through simplicity. Complexity doesn't lead to happiness because it involves forfeiting your privacy in ways that you can't comprehend. It takes away that feeling deep down inside that you know who you are so much that you don't need to share that with other people. But when you live a simple life and reject some of this complexity that we have in the world right now, it leads to a happier life because you gain back some of the privacy in your life. Need 4, deprivation. I live in Colorado, and in my opinion, this is the roughest time of the year because the weather just changes so much. I mean, 2 days ago, it was 70 degrees, it was warm, it was sunny, it just put you in this amazing mood. And then today, 2 days later, I woke up, it was snowing, it was like 20 degrees outside, and it was gloomy, and it just made you feel very depressing. And after this long winter where the sun sets at 4:30, you just want this consistent weather, but you know you're not going to get it because there's still 2 more months of this flip-flop, and it's really hard. But it makes me think about that saying, you can't enjoy a sunny day without a couple rainy days. I think one of the big problems of this complex world is that it makes everything very easy and effortless. I mean, you can get what you want, when you want it, where you want it with no effort. And although this is nice at times, it takes away a need that we humans have deep inside of us that makes us happy: deprivation. It's like the weather. You can't enjoy a sunny day without a couple rainy days once it is consistently warm and it's summer. I will just have this deep appreciation of it because I was deprived of it for so long, and I'm going to soak it up as much as I can. And in this complex world, we're losing this deprivation. We're just getting everything easy. When you get everything easy, you end up not appreciating anything. You end up taking everything for granted. And so I think that we need to go back to a more simple way to meet these fundamental needs that we have as humans and recognize that this complexity isn't good. It's not even logical. It's just complexity for the sake of complexity. It's just creating this really artificial world, and I don't think that you can find happiness in this complex artificial world, and I think that's why we need to go back to simplicity, because simplicity is natural. And I think because it's natural, simplicity is the only path to happiness. And with that, muchas gracias, que tenga un buen día. Video 104, nos vemos, chicos. Also, started a Patreon page. Join my Patreon page. All right, bye.